Please bring your agenda, green folder, and a pencil to the table beside of the computers. All right, let's review our subject-verb agreement with plural subjects made with and, or nor, and singular subjects where we circle the correct verb to use. So here is a worksheet that you're going to do to review what we've been working on the last 3 lessons and to get you ready for this new lesson that we're going to be doing today. So you'll have about 10 minutes to finish to complete the review worksheet. All right, so today we're going to be working on subject-verb agreement, where you will write sentences that have singular or plural subjects that uses s, es, or ies, or irregular plurals, and write the correct verb to match the subject. So you are also going to be writing the 4 different types of sentences like we did last time. And I'm going to show you what that is going to look like. Okay, so I have the word bank pulled up right here, and I'm going to be writing a statement using the word Kroger. So I'm going to say Kroger carries items that are good for tacos. This sentence has a singular subject, Kroger, and a singular verb, carries. This sentence is a statement that is telling the reader something. The sentence begins with a capital letter and ends in a period, and statements are always going to be ending in a period. So for number 2, I'm going to be using the word sunflowers. Do wild sunflowers grow along the side of the road here? So this sentence has a plural subject, sunflowers, and it has a plural verb, grow. So the sentence is a question that's asking the reader something, and the sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a question mark, and questions are always going to end in a question mark. So for number 3, I'm going to be writing a command using the word phone. Place the phone on the table near the bed. So this sentence has an understood subject of you, which is singular, and the singular verb, place. So the subject is you because it's a command. It's telling the reader to do something. And then, so that means the verb is also going to have to be singular, and it's place. So commands always tell the reader something to do, like there's always an action. And they always begin with a capital letter and end in a period. All right, and the last example I'm going to do is going to be using the word dogs, and it's going to be an exclamation. So the sentence says, the dogs at the park were so friendly. This sentence has a plural subject, and the subject is dogs, and a plural verb, have. No, sorry. They were so friendly. So this sentence is an exclamation, which shows excitement. And they begin, exclamations always begin with a capital letter, and they end with an exclamation point. And that exclamation point is going to be your telltale sign that this sentence is an exclamation sentence, which shows excitement about something. All right, so now we're going to do some together. And we have to practice the signal first. So, remember, my sentence is a pencil tap like this. And you will wait on my signal to answer in unison. So, the first question, today is Wednesday. What is today? Good job. Do we arrive to school in the morning or in the afternoon? And what color is my pen? Good. Great way for waiting on the signal and then answering all together once you hear the signal. All right. So let's practice our subject-verb agreement. Let me pull up our sentences. All right. So read number 1. What is the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? What type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Read the sentence and listen to see if the subject and verb agreement sounds correct. Read number 2. What is the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? What type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject and verb agreement are correct. Read sentence number 3. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Read sentence number 3. What is the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? So what verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject and verb agreement is correct. Read sentence number 4. What is the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? What type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject-verb agreement sounds correct. Read sentence number 5. What's the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or plural? How do you know? So what type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject-verb agreement sounds correct. Read sentence number 6. What's the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? What type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject and verb agreement sound correct. Read sentence number 7. What's the subject of the sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? So what type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject and verb agreement are correct. Read sentence number 8. What's the subject of the sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? So what type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject-verb agreement is correct. Read number 9. What is the subject of this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? What type of verb are we going to need to use then? How do you know? Good. Circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject-verb agreement is correct. All right, and read sentence number 10. What is the subject in this sentence? Is the subject singular or compound? How do you know? So what type of verb do we need to use? How do you know? Good, circle the verb. Now read the sentence and listen to see if the subject-verb agreement sounds correct. Okay, so now you're going to be practicing with your peers, and you're going to be using these baggies. Peer 1, you're going to administer baggie number 1 to peer number 2. And peer 1 is going to be the teacher, peer 2 is going to be the student. Peer 1, you're going to make sure that peer 2 reads a sentence on the front of the card and then selects the correct verb to match the subject. The answers are going to be on the back of the card. So peer number 1, you're going to explain if the answer is incorrect and what the correct answer should be, because you'll be able to see the answers. And then you will switch roles. Peer number 2, you'll administer baggie number 2 to peer number 1. Okay, so now it is time to work on your own to write sentences with correct subject-verb agreement. And you're also going to be working on the statements, question, exclamations, and commands. So you will write 10 sentences, and 5 are going to be statements, 3 are going to be questions, 2 exclamations, and 2 commands. Sorry. So go ahead and do that. And when you finish with today's independent practice, we're going to be working on a related practice task where you underline the subject once and underline the verb twice. Alright, so today we learned about subject-verb agreement when the subject is singular and when we have a compound subject, and we must decide if the singular or plural verb is the one we're supposed to choose. So, read these 2 sentences. Which sentence will require a singular verb? How do you know? So what would be the correct verb to choose? How do you know? So what type of subject is in sentence number 2? How do you know? So what type of verb will match the subject of sentence number 2? Good job. Alright, thank you so much for working so hard today. And like we did last time, if we need extra practice on these skills, we're going to be using IXL. Thank you so much for working hard and working on your subject-verb agreement.